Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to our English news program, coming to you from Canal, Algérie. To the headlines. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, sent an official invitation to the President of Sudan's Transitional Sovereign Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, to take part in the proceedings of the upcoming Arab Summit in Algeria. The President of the Republic extends condolences after the death of the late Sheikh Imam Al-Hajj Muhammad Ramadan, the Imam Muqaddam of the Tariqa Tijaniya in Bousemroun, highlighting his devotion to the service of mosque as an Imam, a guide and an educator. The war veteran and great actress Farida Sabunji passes away at the age of 92, and the President of the Republic extends condolences while praising her long career full of achievements. The national coach Jamal bin Madi announces the list of players called up for the upcoming 2 matches against Guinea and Nigeria. Good evening, those were today's headlines. First in our news, the Minister of Trade and Exports Promotion, Kamal Rizieq, was received in Khartoum in his capacity as a special envoy of the President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, by the President of Sudan's Transitional Sovereign Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, to whom he handed the letter of invitation by the President of the Republic to take part in the proceedings of the Arab Summit that will take place in Algiers. On this occasion, Kamal Rizieq has conveyed the brotherly greetings of the President of the Republic to the President of Sudan's Transitional Sovereign Council, reaffirming that Algeria is ready to host the next Arab Summit in the best conditions and to make this summit a meeting to close the ranks of the Arab countries and to promote joint Arab action, while conveying to him the wish of the President to see Sudan as an active participant in the summit. On his side, the President of Sudan's Transitional Sovereign Council, General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, tasked Kamal Rizieq to convey to the President of the Republic his brotherly greetings, recalling the depths of relations between the two countries, affirming his personal participation in the Algiers summit. The meeting that took place in the presence of the Sudanese Minister of Foreign Affairs constitutes an occasion to remind of the importance to consolidate the bond of fraternity and cooperation between the two countries. The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addressed a message of condolences to the family of the late Sheikh Imam Al-Hajj Muhammad Ramadan, Muqaddam of the Tariqa Tijaniya or Tijaniya Brotherhood in Bousemroun. The message reads, "It is the divine will that the Sheikh Imam Al-Hajj Muhammad Ramadan, the Imam Muqaddam of the Tariqa Tijaniya in Bousemroun, leaves us after a life devoted to the service of mosques." The President Tebboune recalled that the deceased was an imam, a guide, and an educator committed to teaching the Holy Quran to our children, and a scholar working actively to convey the oneness of God and Sufism. Raised by Allah to the rank of scholars and imams, he was one of the adepts of Zawiya Tijaniya, certified by its caliphs and scholars, in recognition of his efforts in the service of Islam in the region of Al-Bayyad, a region been generous to imams. In this instance, I extend to you as well as all our people in Bousemroun and the surrounding areas and all the adepts of Tariqa Tijaniya my sincere condolences, praying God Almighty to grant him his holy mercy and to welcome him in his vast paradise alongside the believers and the pious, and to grant his relatives patience and comfort. Indeed, we belong to Allah and to him we shall return, concluded the President of the Republic. Algeria has lost one of its illustrious personalities and reforming scholars of the Tariqa Tijaniya. The deceased lived his whole life as a teacher of the Holy Quran and as a reference for the science of Sharia and as a reference of the fatwa in the west region of the country. A look back on his career with Rania Al-Bahri.
Al-Hajj Muhammad bin Ramadan, Muqaddam of Tariqa Tijaniya in Bousemroun region in Al-Bayyad province, has devoted all his life to the service of unicity and Sufism. He was a guide and an educator attached to the learning of the Holy Quran to young learners. and the scholar ensuring the transmission of unicity and Sufism for 50 years, thus becoming a reference for fatwas and spiritual education taught to generations of learners. Born in 1931, Al-Hajj Muhammad bin Ramadan is the son of Muhammad bin Tayyib bin Ramadan, with whom he learned the Holy Quran in Qsar Bousamghoun in Al-Bayd province. He studied monotheism, jurisprudence, and Mysticism. Aged 19, Al-Hajj Muhammad is appointed a scholar of a mosque. He was a professor of the Quran, a jurist, as well as an imam of Umar ibn al-Khattab Mosque. Al-Hajj Muhammad was one of the followers of Zawiya Tijaniya, certified by his caliphs and his scholars in recognition of his efforts in the service of Islam in Al-Bayd province, whose population has always offered hospitality to imams. Indeed, Al-Hajj Muhammad bin Ramadan received certificates similar to the introductory certificate of the scholar in Nayyah al-Madawi, the certificate of Muhammad al-Hajj Tijani in 1967, or the license of the Caliph General of Tariqa Tijaniya and others. The deceased lived his whole life as a teacher of the Holy Quran and a reference for the Sharia science and al-Fatwa in the west of the country, also as precursor of Tariqa Tijani at Bousamghoun and Khulwa of Sidi Ahmed Tijani, which is located in Qsar Bousamghoun. He is considered to be one of the guarantors of Al-Hadith Nabawi Sharif in Algeria. Al-Hajj Muhammad Ramadan has memorized more than 10,000 attested hadiths. The scholar Hajj Muhammad bin Ramadan Muqaddam died at the age of 91 after making his place in the hearts of his students, who carried him to his final resting place, leaving a biography that will remain shining in the paths of Sharia and Quranic education.
The President of the Republic, Abdelmajid Tebboune, addressed a message of condolences to the family of the late actor Farida Sabunji that passed away Saturday at the age of 92 years old. The message reads, "I received with great emotion and sorrow the news of the death of the late artist Farida Sabunji. In this painful circumstance, we bid farewell to a bright name among the great Algerian artists. The late, with a group of artists, have won appreciation and respect through her fine theatrical and cinematic works, and thus were an example to generations of artists. While we resign to the will of Allah, I address to the bereaved family and to the artistic and cultural families my sincere condolences and feelings of compassion, asking Allah Almighty to grant her mercy and to welcome her in the highest paradise, and to grant everyone patience. Indeed, we belong to Allah, and to Him we shall return." Farida Sabunji is no longer in this world. She passed away Saturday at the age of 92. The late actress marked several Algerian generations with her talent, her personality, and her exceptional acting. The artistic world is in mourning. Condolences flock to salute the memory of one-of-a-kind artist that made millions of viewers cry and laugh. A look back on the artistic history of Farida Sabunji with Najah Tayyar.
She worked by the side of the greatest artists of theater, television, and cinema in Algeria: Mahyiddin Bashtarzi, Mustafa Gharibi, Mustafa Badi', Abdelghani Mahdawi, Mohammed Hilmi, Jamal Fazaz, and many other artists of the screen. From the early 1940s, Farida Sabunji started her career in theater stage, radio and television studios, and film sets, a career of more than 60 years in the service of creation and culture.
يا اخي قلت باللي ما كان حتى واحد هملا عمر تحب نقول اعمل في بالك باللي راني نعمل الريبيتيسيون كيما هذوك اللي يلعبوا في التلفزيون
ريبيتيسيون هيا ريبيتيسيون الكوزينه هيا ريبيتيسيون الكوزينه هيا ريبيتيسيون.
In Téléchanson, a program produced by Mustafa Tizraoui. In the 60s, Mrs. Farida Sabunji, a side to the great Sid Ali Fernandel, met the huge Algerian audience.
نعم يا سيدي هي راهي عارفة وانا تاني عارفة.
واش راكم عارفين فهموني؟
معلوم يا سيدي.
Farida Sabunji, a great woman who was a part of a generation of resilient and brave women, as Nouria, Shafia Boudra', Wardiya Hmidouche, Fatiha Berber, and many others who decided to go on stage and express themselves artistically.
ايوه فاتح واش قلتي؟
ودرك يزين سعد بنتي عطوني دوك المسايس، راح الحال عليا وبنت خالتك راهي تستنى فيا باش تروح للعرس.
اشربي قهوه وروح.
ما نشرب والو.
يا اسمعي.
Farida Sabunji had a strong personality, unique character with great professionalism as she paid attention to the smallest details in her work.
رحت للبيبليوتيك وراولي شكون هذين كرنادا، وراولي الصور نتاع لي غوما.
كيفاش كانوا يلبسوا زمان،
كيفاش كانوا يلبسوا وقت الثوره ديالهم. قلت لهم من فضلكم اعطوني التصويره نتاع كرنادا كيفاش لابسه والتصويره نتاع لي غوما. هما دوني دو تصويرات. كي جيت لهنا كان عبد القادر نكروف كان هو هنايا، عطيت له الصورة.
Yet watched and appreciated by the new generations until today. She loved the comedy dramas, for that the goal is to give a smile of joy and happiness to millions of Algerians.
صباح لله صباح لله.
شوف
واش شفت انا شفت ولا انت اللي جايه ولا انا؟ واش من شفت انايا؟ انت جاي من ورا وداخله.
الله يصبح هذا الصباح بالخير. شوف
كل صباح كيف شي وسيله انت دوك حصلي فيا انايا.
ما تقدرش ترد بالك.
كيفاش نرد بالي يا مرا؟ انت اللي جيتي مورانا لابس في هذا الفيستا ومعمره غبراك. اسحب هذا هاي الحصون معاك انت كل صباح كاينه حاجه.
In the 90s, the Algerian television broadcasted one of the most significant series in her history, El Masir, directed by Jamal Fizzaz, in which Farida Sabunji glowed with her exceptional acting skills by the side of Qasderli, Agoumi, Medjoubi, Nouriya, and many others.
هذا هو قصدكم ولا راني غلط؟
واحد ما قال لك هكذا.
الولد اللي راكم رايحين تجيبوه باش تربوه، انا مانيش موافقه.
بمسرارة تقطر بالسر.
صح.
Mrs. Sabunji had a strong presence in the seventh art as well. She participated in countless movies such as A Medal for Hassan, Diyaf Blarda, Lahn al-Amal, Khud Ma'takallah, and the list is long. Farida Sabunji marked an entire generation. Her name is written in gold in the Book of Art and Culture in Algeria.
Following the movement ordered by the President at the level of governors and delegate governors, the Minister of Interior, Local Authorities and Regional Planning, Brahim Merad, supervised the installation ceremony of Abd al-Noor Rabhi as the new governor of Algiers, replacing Ahmed Mabed. The Minister of National Education, Abdel Hakim Bil'ab, accompanied by the Minister of Post and Telecommunication, Karim Bibitriki, have signed Saturday an agreement between the National Office of School Publication and Algérie Post with an aim to allow parents of pupils to purchase books using a Dahabiya card. Internationally, Moroccan students are enraged following the death of 2 students at a dormitory in Oujda. Students denounced the neglect of those in charge and requested the opening of an investigation. Manal Amari with the details.
These images showcase remains of a dormitory in the city of Oujda, where a fire outbreak resulted in an unprecedented state of panic, leading several students to jump out of windows in an attempt to save their lives. Yet 2 young men sadly passed away, while several others were wounded. We would like to present our condolences to the parents of the 2 students who lost their lives due to the neglect of those in charge. This tragedy exposed the irresponsibility of the people ruling over us. Because of them, our country is moving backwards instead of forwards. I am calling for the opening of an investigation to determine the responsibilities of each one of them. Morocco is torn down by social crisis as well as teacher and student strikes. This tragedy is a new beginning for more claims, demands, and social justice in a country where inequality between the rich and the poor.
The statement called on all free Moroccans to mobilize and participate in all protests to end normalization, confirming that all supporters of this normalization were added to the blacklist. The Moroccan Front in support of Palestine and against normalization called out the regular visits to Morocco from the Zionist entities' delegations under the protection of the Makhzen regime's security and conspirations against the Moroccan people's will and emotions. After 3 months of absence, the national football team are back. The national coach Jamal Belmadi revealed Saturday the list of players called up for the upcoming matches facing Guinea and Nigeria. The new changes in the list, the absence of the goalkeeper Rais Wahab Mboulhi and the return of the midfielder Nabil Ben Talib that has been absent for 4 years after regaining the trust of the national coach, while CR Belouizdad midfielder Mirizigi was called up for the first time, while the absence of the attacker Baghdad Bounedjah continues. Best of luck to our national football team. And with that, I'll wrap up our news bulletin. Thank you for watching. Have a great night.